Boko Haram has caused widespread violence and killed many in Nigeria, yet they claim to be acting in the name of peace. Despite this claim, their actions are anything but peaceful, particularly towards Christians. How can they justify violence in the name of faith, when Christians, like all people, have the right to live peacefully and practice their beliefs without fear? Is there hope for Nigeria? This is a question that weighs heavily on the hearts of millions, both within the country and across the world. When we look at the headlines, it's easy to feel a sense of despair. We hear about conflict, instability, and immense suffering. One of the most prominent sources of this pain has been the extremist group Boko Haram for years. Their campaign of violence has torn through communities, leaving a trail of destruction and heartbreak. They've caused the deaths of countless innocent people and displaced millions from their homes. Families have been shattered, futures have been stolen, and a shadow of fear has been cast over vast regions of the country. The most jarring part of this tragedy is the justification they use. They claim to be acting in the name of faith, in the name of peace. But how can anyone look at the violence, the bombings, the kidnappings, and see peace? How can actions that specifically target and persecute certain groups, like Christians, be reconciled with any genuine spiritual or peaceful mission? The very idea is a profound contradiction. Christians in Nigeria, like people of all faiths and backgrounds, have a fundamental right to live, to worship, and to exist without fear. The freedom to practice one's beliefs peacefully is a cornerstone of a just society. So, when a group perpetrates horrific violence while claiming a moral high ground, it's not just an attack on physical lives. It's an assault on logic, on compassion, and on the very essence of what faith is supposed to represent. This isn't a problem that exists in a vacuum. It's part of a larger, more complex tapestry of challenges facing Nigeria. We see ethnic tensions, political corruption, and economic disparities that all fuel the flames of instability. When people feel disenfranchised, when they lack opportunity, and when they feel their government isn't protecting them, it creates fertile ground for extremist ideologies to take root. Desperate people can be swayed by promises of order, or even revenge, no matter how twisted the logic behind them. It becomes a vicious cycle. Violence creates instability, instability creates desperation, and desperation can lead to more violence. This cycle has left many Nigerians feeling trapped, wondering if a peaceful future is even possible. But to only focus on the darkness is to miss a crucial part of the story. Because in the face of this immense adversity, the spirit of the Nigerian people shines through with incredible resilience. This is where we find the first glimmers of hope. All across the country you'll find ordinary people doing extraordinary things. You'll find community leaders, both Christian and Muslim, who are risking their own safety to build bridges of understanding and cooperation. They are actively rejecting the narrative of division that extremists try to sell. They are organizing interfaith dialogues, creating shared community projects, and standing together to protect one another, regardless of religious affiliation. They understand that their common humanity is far more powerful than the doctrines of hate that seek to tear them apart. These grassroots efforts are the lifeblood of hope. They demonstrate that the desire for peace and unity is far more widespread than the desire for conflict. We also see a generation of young Nigerians who are refusing to accept the status quo. They are educated, they are connected through technology, and they are vocal. They are using social media to expose corruption, to organize for change, and to demand accountability from their leaders. They are starting businesses, creating art, and building a new culture of innovation and progress. This vibrant, determined youth is Nigeria's greatest asset. They are not defined by the conflicts of the past. They are focused on building a better future, one where opportunity is not dictated by your ethnicity or your religion, but by your talent and your hard work. Of course, resilience and youthful energy alone cannot solve a problem of this magnitude. Real, lasting change requires systemic shifts. It requires a government that is truly committed to the security and well-being of all its citizens. This means more than just a military response to extremism. It means tackling the root causes. It means investing in education, creating jobs, and ensuring that basic services reach every corner of the country. It means rooting out the corruption that siphons away the nation's wealth and erodes public trust. True security comes when people have a stake in society, when they have a future to look forward to, and when they believe that the system is fair and just. There are signs that this is beginning to happen, albeit slowly. There is increasing pressure, both internally and from the international community, for governance reform. There's a growing recognition that a purely military solution has failed and that a more holistic approach is needed. International partners are working with Nigerian organizations to support peace-building initiatives, provide humanitarian aid, and promote economic development. These are not quick fixes, and the path ahead is long and difficult. There will be setbacks, but every school that is rebuilt, every small business that is launched, and every community that comes together to reject violence is a victory. It's a step away from the brink and a step towards a more stable and prosperous future. So, is there hope for Nigeria? The answer is a resounding yes. But it's not a passive hope. It's not the hope of waiting for a savior or for problems to magically disappear. It is an active, fighting hope. It's the hope that is forged in the resilience of its people. It's the hope that we see in the courage of interfaith leaders, in the passion of young activists, and in the quiet determination of everyday citizens who refuse to give up on their country. The violence and the headlines are real, but they are not the whole story. The real story of Nigeria is one of immense potential, of a rich and diverse culture, and of an unbreakable human spirit. The path forward requires a collective effort. It requires continued support from the global community, a genuine commitment to good governance from its leaders, and the unwavering spirit of the Nigerian people themselves. The challenges are immense, but the will to overcome them is stronger. The future of Nigeria is not yet written, and with every act of courage, compassion, and unity, its people are writing a new chapter, a chapter of peace, a chapter of progress, and a chapter of hope. Thank you for watching. If you found this perspective valuable, please like, share, and subscribe for more discussions like this. Is there hope for Nigeria? This is a question that weighs heavily on the hearts of many, both within the country and across the world. When we look at the headlines, we see a nation grappling with immense challenges. One of the most prominent and heartbreaking is the relentless violence carried out by groups like Boko Haram. For over a decade, this group has inflicted unimaginable suffering, causing widespread destruction and taking countless lives. They claim their actions are in the name of faith, a quest for a purer state. But how can this be reconciled with the reality on the ground? The reality is one of terror, of communities torn apart, and of a deep, pervasive fear. Their name, Boko Haram, translates to Western education is forbidden, which gives us a glimpse into their ideology. They oppose modern secular governance and seek to establish a state governed by their strict interpretation of Islamic law. This has put them in direct and violent conflict with the Nigerian state and, tragically, with anyone who does not subscribe to their extremist views. The human cost of this conflict is staggering. We're talking about tens of thousands of lives lost, and millions of people displaced from their homes, forced to become refugees in their own country. Imagine having to flee your home, your land, your memories, with nothing but the clothes on your back, not knowing if you'll ever be able to return. This is the daily reality for so many families in northeastern Nigeria. They live in sprawling, often overcrowded camps for internally displaced persons, facing shortages of food, water, and medical care. The children, many of whom have witnessed horrors no child should ever see, are especially vulnerable, their education and futures stolen from them. Particularly, the Christian community in Nigeria has borne a disproportionate burden of this violence. Churches have been targeted, pastors and worshippers attacked, and entire Christian villages razed to the ground. The stories are gut-wrenching. Believers are often faced with an impossible choice: convert or face death. This isn't a conflict of equals, it's a campaign of persecution. The fundamental right to freedom of religion, to worship peacefully without fear, is being systematically violated. How can violence be justified in the name of God? Every major faith, at its core, preaches peace, compassion, and the sanctity of life. The actions of Boko Haram are a perversion of these universal values. They sow division where there should be unity, and hatred where there should be love. Christians, like all Nigerians, have the right to live, to work, to raise their families, and to practice their faith in peace. Beyond the immediate violence, the crisis has created a ripple effect across the nation. The economy of the Northeast has been devastated. Farmlands lie fallow because it's too dangerous to cultivate them, leading to severe food insecurity. Trade routes have been disrupted, and local markets, once bustling with life, have become targets. The social fabric of communities, where Christians and Muslims once lived side by side for generations, has been frayed. Mistrust and fear have replaced neighborly bonds, making the path to reconciliation that much harder. The Nigerian government, along with international partners, has been fighting a long and difficult war against these insurgents. There have been victories, territories have been reclaimed, and many insurgents have been neutralized. The Nigerian armed forces are on the front lines every day, making immense sacrifices to protect their fellow citizens. We must acknowledge their bravery and the complexity of the fight they are engaged in. This isn't a conventional war. It's a battle against a deeply entrenched, ideologically driven insurgency that thrives on chaos. But military action alone cannot be the entire solution. To truly defeat this menace, we need a multifaceted approach. We need to address the root causes that allow extremism to take hold in the first place. This means tackling poverty, creating educational and economic opportunities, especially for young people who might otherwise be lured by extremist promises. It means promoting good governance, fighting corruption, and ensuring that all citizens feel they have a stake in the future of their country. And this brings us back to our original question: is there hope for Nigeria? Despite the darkness, the answer is a resounding yes. Hope is not found in ignoring the problems, but in confronting them. Hope lives in the resilience of the Nigerian people. It lives in the courage of those who refuse to be defined by hatred. We see it in the humanitarian workers, both local and international, who risk their lives to bring aid to the displaced. We see it in the interfaith leaders, Christian and Muslim, who are working together to build bridges of understanding and condemn violence. We see it in the ordinary citizens who help their neighbors, regardless of their faith, and who dream of a peaceful, united Nigeria. The spirit of Nigeria is strong. It's a nation of incredible diversity, vibrant culture, and immense potential. The path forward will not be easy. It requires justice for the victims, a commitment to rebuilding shattered communities, and a national dialogue focused on healing and reconciliation. It requires all Nigerians from the government to the grassroots to reject extremism in all its forms and to work towards a common vision of a nation where every life is valued and every person can live in dignity and peace. The international community also has a role to play, not by imposing solutions, but by supporting Nigeria's own efforts. This means providing humanitarian assistance, sharing intelligence, and supporting initiatives that promote peace and development. So, let us not lose hope. Instead, let's be informed. Let's amplify the voices of peace and resilience. Let's support the organizations on the ground doing the hard work of healing and rebuilding. Nigeria's future is not yet written. The challenges are real, but the strength and spirit of its people are realer. With courage, unity, and a steadfast commitment to peace, Nigeria can overcome this trial and emerge stronger. There is hope for a brighter dawn. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please give it a like, share it to raise awareness, and subscribe to our channel for more content that matters. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below.